Hello, everyone, and welcome to Visual Radio. It is Tuesday, October 11th, 20 days away from Halloween, Gallagher.
I don't care much about Halloween.
My guest today is Gallagher.
I don't think it's a good idea to let your kids go door to door late at night asking strangers for something to put in their mouth.
I agree with you 100%.
Now, if your kids don't come home, you can't tell the cops what they look like because they were in a costume. And then every year, all the kids want to wear the same costume. It'll be Power Rangers or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or them little yellow pillas from Japan. I don't know what they're called, but it's just a very dangerous holiday.
Even more so in Boston, because now the big costume is Whitey Bulger, the gangster.
Yeah.
They're selling like hotcakes.
An orange jumpsuit with Whitey on the back.
It's you know, it's kind of controversial. The victims of his crimes are not happy about it.
Well, I didn't think Halloween was about making people happy. You're supposed to scare them.
Well, the candy makes them happy.
I don't get it. How do you scare kids and then give them candy? You're supposed to teach kids not to take candy from strangers. So
You're
I don't get the whole
absolutely right.
holiday. Doesn't make a bit of sense.
Well, me being into Lugosi, it makes sense for me. But what brings you up to Boston? I know you're in Connecticut. You're doing some gigs, Mohegan Sun.
It's a major airport. I need to fly to major airports and then drive to the small towns. Otherwise, you have to fly in and out of small towns. Too much trouble.
I love Wolfden, where you are on the weekend. Peter Noon's played there, Mark Farner from Grand Funk Railroad. In fact, we interviewed him down there at the Mohegan Sun in the Wolfden. It's just a lovely venue.
I'm working all the places I didn't have to work on the way up. I'm working my way down.
Actually, it's a prestigious room.
Oh, it is?
It is. It's a good room.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and you're there 2 nights, so you're going to love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've got all the casino stuff happening out there, so there's a lot of noise and sound, but then in the Wolfden, it's nice.
There isn't a lot of sound in a casino anymore. Without the coins, you don't have that excitement of winning, and the only fun is over at the dice table. So I've invented a new dice game where you can play baseball with dice. You see, I'm an innovator. I'm a visionary.
I wouldn't even know how to begin.
To
Explain.
play baseball with dice?
Yeah.
Well, like a 7 is a single, 11 is a double, and a 12 is a triple. You see, you throw the dice and you move it around, and there's 2 teams of dice players, and they're kind of cheering, and the girls are wearing sporty little outfits, maybe stripes like umpires, and you get popcorn, and there's fun out there. I'm also redoing the software in slot machines.
Well, to go back to your baseball, I thought that you take a book and you hit the dice like a...
No,
and
you
name
don't
on
do
the Andrew
anything
dice
like that. No, but I am doing a slot machine where the pitcher pitches the dice, and then you hit them, and then that's how they get thrown.
And you put the nickel in, or you press the button and run back with your
Well,
bat?
there's no money anymore.
Oh.
You know, you put your card in, and then they know how much money you lost, and then you win a free buffet. It's silly.
A free buffet at the casino.
Yeah, what happens is everybody loses the money that they had planned on losing right away. Then they wander around looking for coupons and free things. And what I'm doing is giving them more fun in the machine, in the gameplay. And of course, the casino's against it because they want it to go really fast. But what's the sense of being all done if they're wandering around with no entertainment value and the machine's sitting there by itself, you see? I'm a visionary. I'm trying to tell them how to do business. What's the matter with people having more fun?
They should get a little exercise down there. Jay and I were down there for the Peter Noon show, and I won $55, and I walked away. I figured stay ahead of the game, right?
Well, you could have won $5,000. You never know. It's selling hope. When I go in these gas stations to get me a coffee or something while I'm on the road, the people in front of me are buying hope. They're buying this kind of ticket, that kind. There's always this chance that they're going to change their lives and be rich. And that's what we sell in America, is we sell hope.
Like the Roseanne show, she won, right? She
She didn't need to win. She already had money.
But on the game, on the show, they won the ticket.
Oh, on her show?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never watched her show.
I haven't either, but I read about things.
Yeah.
So Boston, do you have any memories of playing in Boston establishments, Orpheum or Orpheum's up there on Tremont Street?
Now, the first time I went around America, you see, I told you, I got famous right away. My third job in show business was opening for Kenny Rogers 100 shows all around the country.
That's amazing.
Well, I met his manager at a time when the manager was starting a new management company and they needed a comedian. And he told me that he could let me open for Kenny for 100 shows. At $5,000 a show was a $500,000 deal.
Whoa.
So I learned about America by introducing the opening act, Dottie West, all around the country. And I could compare the cities. And Detroit was the bottom. And Las Cruces, New Mexico was the top. You wouldn't think that, would you?
No, not at all.
They were a wonderful crowd. I had the best time. Rockford, Illinois came in second. Minneapolis came in third. Boston, I don't know.
Now this is Kenny after first edition, or was it
Oh,
Kenny
yeah,
Rogers?
this is 80, 81.
Okay.
This is Lady, da, 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 and you decorated my life.
Which are good pop tunes.
Oh yeah, they loved them. But you see, if you're going to work a 10,000 seater, it takes a while for them all to sit down. So at about 7:45, there's 5,000 people there. Well, I went out and I started entertaining them, and seating them, and I'd tell these people to go sit there, and those people, and you're wearing funny clothes, and don't walk in front of your wife, help her, and don't, watch your kids and everything. And so then they knew me. And that's the best thing to do, is to get an audience to like you and then tell them jokes rather than come straight out telling jokes. So then I'd introduce Dottie about 10 after 8. Instead of doing a half an hour and then introducing Dottie, I told Dottie, don't you want to go out there when they're fresh? Because see, I'm going to smash. And I don't want her walking around in her high heels in something that she might slip. So I'd introduce her about 10 after. So I'd done 25 minutes already. She'd do her half an hour, and then as she was exiting, I'd pop back up into her spotlight, you see, as she was leaving, and then I'd do my Sledge-O-Matic. And then they loved it, and so I was actually the opening and the closing act of the first half of the show, because Kenny wouldn't show up until the intermission. He'd fly in his airplane, so he didn't know anything about what I was doing.
You decorated his stage.
I did.
With the Sledge-O-Matic. Now,
well, his stage was a bunch of lunchroom tables in a square, and then he'd put the band in the middle of that, and then he'd parade around. So everybody had a front row seat, you see, a lot of them. And so it was hard for me to pick a corner, because I'd have to ignore the other corner. I can't smash at all 4 corners. So it was hard for me.
who was the manager back then?
Well, it was Ken Cragen.
Ken Cragen. I forgot the name. See, I'm getting Bluesheimer's.
Well, but the problem with Ken was he got the idea that everybody in America should hold hands. Hands across America. So I always felt funny calling him to ask about my act, because I knew he was doing more important things, making everybody hold hands or feeding everybody in Africa, and it felt weird. And so after I did them 100 jobs, I didn't stay with that company anymore. But I learned from Kenny how to promote your own shows. And so then I rented the theaters and paid the stagehands and bought the advertising for decades, 20, 25 years. So I never had an agent or a manager.
Kenny had a great book out, Making It in Music. It was really precise. You know, there's tons of books out there, but Kenny Rogers from the School of Hard Knocks. Mm-hmm. I knew his first manager when he was in the New Christie Minstrels, the late George Greif. But Kenny Cragen's a legend. That's amazing. So you have a book in you. We talked about this yesterday. There is a book in there. I mean, just the story of the Sledge-O-Matic.
I don't think people read. So I think that if they just got my 4 DVD set available on eBay,
Now we don't talk about those things on this show.
Well, I don't make any money. They've already been sold. They're just selling them used. You know, the kids copy them and then sell the original.
That's interesting. That's a good point. Because we're public access, but you don't make any money.
No.
So eBay is just people trading.
No,
and
I'm
stuff,
just saying that my whole life is available. People can just look at it.
But I'm a person and I read.
You're unusual.
Well, that's.
You have glasses on top of your head. You're going to be reading. But most people, I think people read on the train going into New York. But I don't think that generally the population reads. I don't think they even multiply. They say things like, if you want to do the math, because it's too hard for them, and it just must be too hard. You know what's popular? Those books that are read for blind people. They like to put
Braille.
They put those in when they drive and have a book read to them.
Oh, I thought the blind people were driving and reading at the same time.
No, no, those books for people that just listen.
The Braille.
No, you listen.
With the headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's CD versions of books, and there's sometimes the author reads them, sometimes they have someone read them. But I think your story's interesting.
Well, we're turning into just sitting down people. And the kids never exercise, they don't eat right, and they just play video games, or they're online playing with their little phones, and they're not exercising. We're not a wild country anymore.
Well, you're on the road constantly.
Yes.
Do you come up with bits as you see people in different areas?
Oh, I have to. People have to feel like you're one of them. Otherwise, you're from out of town. Mm-hmm. And then they don't cotton to you. See, you got to know the lingo and how they talk. To me, comedy is extremely intimate. That's why I don't go around the world. I don't know them people. Mm-hmm. They're foreigners. Europe's full of them. And they just aren't my folks. In fact, I don't really go to LA or New York. They're just different. I don't know them folks. I stay in the space in between. I like little small towns. When you show up, you're the only thing happening. Everybody's there. I've had the mayor at my shows innumerable times.
Does that help him get elected?
Well, it's something happening in town.
No, it makes sense.
I remember when I was in Toledo, the mayor showed up. It was a woman, and she gave me the key to the city, and it wasn't even a key. It was a glass.
Well, that's still...
Because they're the glass capital of the world, home of the Jeep.
I did not know that.
Well, this is
now
what
I do.
I do research as I'm going around, so I know where I am and I ask people, has there been some kind of scandal in town lately? What's the mayor been doing? What's the police chief doing? And then you mention it, and people are all excited that you cared about them enough to learn about their town. That's important.
It is. I put your name in Google to get your website, and it comes right up. So if you put Gallagher in Google...
I'm the top response. It takes a lifetime to do that. And I get to have that. Of course, I have to be 65 years old with hardly any hairs left, but I am the top response. I think you can buy that, but I don't pay for it.
Right. You've just been touring, and it kind of just...
Well, for a long time, this electric fence company from Australia was the top one. Did you know every electric fence has the name Gallagher on it? I guess the cows can't read, but there it is. In fact, the trolleys out in San Francisco are also made by a company named Gallagher, and Gallagher's on all the trolleys. I pay attention to that. I'm proud. I went to Ireland to go back to where I started. My family started in Donegal. Gallagher, I think, is the 11th most popular name in Ireland. And of course, it's the most popular in Donegal because that's where we're from. We're mercenaries. You can hire us to kill people. We don't have any skills, artists, or we don't make things, but we will wield an axe.
The Gallagher Mercenaries. Now, did you go to the library and look up?
Oh, yeah. I wanted to know about myself. My grandmother was carried away in Pittsburgh. Now, most of the Gallaghers are in Pittsburgh. There's just, maybe 20 Gallaghers in any city, but you go to Pittsburgh, there's page after page after page of Gallaghers. I think they came over to work in the mines, in the coal mines, because they worked in the coal mines in Ireland, I think. But my grandfather was a little man, and he wanted to be an adagio dancer. And so he whisked my grandmother off her feet, and he taught her to rub rose petals on her cheeks. I guess they didn't have makeup back then, and smoke cigarettes. And that's
Okay.
what she told me. And so he left her after a while. I guess she was pregnant. It was his fault. But he did marry her. That was good. So I've got the name legally.
Right.
And that's I guess where I got my show business, was from this little guy named Gallagher.
What was his first name? Do you remember?
Francis.
Francis Gallagher.
Yeah. It's a girl name.
Well, Frank.
Yeah. But what's happened in America is the girls are taking the boy names. You know, that used to be a rare thing if you were named like Connie Mack. Remember, Connie was a
Sure.
boy name for some reason. But now Jamie, Jesse, Jody, these names can all go both ways. Ashley was the male lead in Gone with the Wind, and that's a girl. I sign a lot of autographs. And so then I notice that the girls want to be named Sam for some reason. Like a fat plumber. They name them Samantha to call them Sam, Alexandra to call them Alex, Tony, even Tony now. The mob is pissed. You can't even be Tony anymore. They took the Y off of the end, then they put an I. And
Tony Collette.
That makes it a girl.
Yeah. She's
Well, you can give examples of, just about everyone, but Dale, I remember when I used to watch Roy Rogers, his wife was named Dale, and I thought, well, that's a boy name.
Cowboy, Dale Evans. Tony, The Big Hurt. Tony, I just had it. 60s.
Yeah.
Tony
Oh, I don't
Fisher.
remember anything about the 60s. That was LSD. I think I was on a trip until the 70s.
You were in the infamous TMZ for collapsing on stage.
Yeah.
You're okay.
Well, you can't tell when your pump is broke, you know. It could stop any time. It's terrible. God put your heart right next to your stomach so you can't tell if you're about to die or need to...
Oh, okay. Collapsing on his back and clutching his chest. It wasn't part of the act.
Now, you can watch the video on YouTube. I was not clutching my...
There's a video, okay.
I know, yeah. Oh, there
Oh.
were 3 of them, but
Wow.
they took 2 of them down. I just felt tired. You know, they say that a heart attack feels like somebody sitting on your chest, but I had that, and it didn't feel like that.
So it was a heart attack.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, it was my second heart attack. I had one in 2000, and then one in March. So, I mean, I'm on borrowed time. You're lucky you're getting me here today.
Well, thank you for being here. And again, that was in where? Minnesota.
Oh, I was 5.3 miles from the Mayo Clinic. I was very lucky because I had spent 12 days going around the world entertaining the Navy. I had been on the aircraft carrier Carl Vincennes, where they took Osama bin Laden's body or ashes or whatever.
Were you there when they did that?
No, but I was there a little before it, and I was in Bahrain. I had a show canceled because they switched from rubber bullets to real bullets. That's what they came and told me. Said, well, they're using real bullets now. You're not going to go on tonight.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson wasn't there. in
But
Bahrain.
that involved 3 13-hour flights. Now, I could have had a heart attack during those, and I'd have died on the plane because there was no way to... One was going across the Pacific, another flight was going across China and Russia to get to Islamabad. I was in the airport there, and you know, when I see an Arab at the airport, I don't want to get on that plane. But I was at an airport where I was the odd one. Nobody wanted to get on because I was there.
I didn't know that we could fly over China now. We can fly over China and Russia.
There's no way to get from Japan to Islamabad without going over China. Maybe we did go up and around. It took 13 hours. Then the last flight was from Madrid over the North Pole, kinda, and then down into Dallas. I didn't even go to New York. I came to Dallas.
From the
From
carrier?
Madrid.
Amazing.
It
Whoa.
is. It's a round world.
I wonder what the airplanes, the magnetics happen when they go on the North Pole. Does the plane jitter or anything, or everything's just
Well, I don't think the North Pole is at the North Pole.
Right. It's always moving.
Well, yeah, it's
But it's only
somewhere
like a
else.
few feet or whatever.
Oh no, it's miles and miles and miles.
It moves?
I've studied physics and geology. I have the whole day free. I don't have a job. So
Oh, yes, you have a job.
No, I just go to a bar at night and tell jokes I would have told anyway.
Interesting.
I picked a job you can do drunk,
And you have.
and I have. It's a blood thinner. Rather than spend a lot of money on Plavix, I just have a shot of tequila.
Well, that's the beauty of knowing physics.
It is.
So, do you employ the physics in your routine?
No, it isn't any good. You know, you have to go to the lowest level, and in a bar with a bunch of drunks, you can't be too smart. You're not going to connect.
One of my co-hosts is in Berkeley, California. Do you mind if we ring him in?
Okay.
Thank you. His name is Buzzy Linhart.
Well, is that why you didn't buzz him?
I'm always buzzing Buzzy. This used to be the Buzzy Linhart show, actually.
Oh.
One ringy dingy.
Hello, WinCam.
Hi, WinCam. How are you?
Hello, Buzzy.
Don't talk now. I'm talking to the guys.
Okay, I wanted to say hi.
Not now.
All right.
Okay. Hi. How are you?
Good, we have Gallagher here with us.
You're kidding me.
No.
No, is this Gallagher or Gallagher brother?
Well, if I was the brother, I'd continue to lie, and I wouldn't tell you the truth.
We'd never really exactly know. Wow. So we gotta like check the continuity of all your shows to see if we can tell, maybe. Well, I sure enjoy everything you've done so far that I've seen.
Uh-huh.
Very much so. Ever so very much so. What are you up to these days? Same thing?
Well, I'm making the world a better place, you know. I'm a visionary, so I can see how to fix the world. I'm going to tell the people who work on the highways that, you know, it's $3,500 if you hit them. I'm going to tell them to quit wearing the same color as the cones. This is ridiculous. I don't know why they do that. But every day I see something that's vital and needs to be fixed, and then I get on television or somehow in the internet and I try to... I ran for governor of California, you know. I got 16th.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I'm the one that started that. Crazy people running against Schwarzenegger. In fact, Maria'd be a lot better off if she'd have voted for me, I think.
I agree.
You know.
Yes.
But I wanted to use helicopters to clear the freeways. I believe that if the freeways are jammed, our economy isn't happening, we're not collecting taxes, there's no sense in having freeways if you
We're
can't...
burning out the air, just flying the helicopters anyhow. Might as well do something with them.
That's what I said. We're paying for it, and we've got these Air Force bases near every major city. Go get the helicopters and get these cars off the road. You can't send a truck to a traffic jam. It's ridiculous. In fact, it doesn't really jam up until the tow truck gets there.
Right.
So
what
that's
do you
just
think
one
is
thing I'm
causing this,
doing.
lack of connecting. Is it because people are pushing their own deal, and so they're not even searching for things that could help in the other way? It looks like the two sides are trying to convince everybody that they're the only way. I mean, those so-called main two sides.
We're in a rut.
The only way, and they just stick to it even if it makes them lie.
Or if it's stupid. You know what they give you when you retire? A watch, and you never need to be to an appointment again. That's a ridiculous tradition. They ought to give you the watch when you hire on and say, don't be late.
That's logical.
I know. Well, being logical don't work in America.
What you do is you give them a very expensive watch, and they say if you're on time, then you can keep it.
I tell people not to get another job if they've lost a job. It's obviously not a good idea to have your life pulled out from under you. You ought to have your own business. You won't fire you.
Yeah, the most fortunate people are the ones who are doing their own thing.
Yeah, you can sell things on the internet to the Chinese. You don't even have to get up and leave the house to have a business.
Wow.
Hey,
Are you going to write a book with a list of these things in there, Gallagher?
No,
I'm urging him to, but he's not listening.
no. I don't think
very
people
busy.
read anymore.
You
Buzzy.
know what anymore? You cut out.
I said they don't read anymore.
That's very true. Well, here's my theory: is we got millions of CD players. If we could just get them to listen to something that's a message, then we got the equipment to do it with. They might as well listen to radical ideas on their way home.
Well, even the CD player was a stupid idea to run with. How many years did these kids run around with a record player spinning instead of having solid state? We needed Steve Jobs to show us how to have music in your pocket.
Right, right.
Now he's gone.
But somebody invented the others, so they're getting royalties off the others, so it's going to be hard to discourage people when it seems so modern.
Hey, Buzz, when's your new record coming out, or the old record, Electric Lady Dream?
I believe it'll be out in 10 days. I'm just about to listen to the final master attempt, and as soon as I call LA, we're a three-man record company, Gallagher, and tell them that it sounds good to me, then we can start doing it, because we're not printing them, we're just going to fix them for download. That's another thing, the thousands of dollars that are spent making hard copies of stuff, and it boils down to kind of a vanity project for all the bands and all the, you're selling yourself, and that might not be the best thing for the universe right now.
It was the first album recorded at Jimi Hendrix Studio,
Oh.
Electric Ladyland, back in, when, 1969?
Electric Lady Studios, we started in '69. They were still building the studio around us at the time. We took over an audition two tapes that we did for Columbia and Elektra that they decided not to sign us and said we could keep the tapes. So we took them over and played them for Eddie Kramer and asked if he would co-produce with us. We should have been lucky if he would produce it. We said we want to be the co-producers, and he said okay. And every band that auditioned Electric Lady to decide if they were going to record there, and everybody wanted to, they were treated to the cut called Talk About a Morning that Jimmy and Eddie Kramer felt was the best way to demonstrate the sound in the control room.
So they used
speakers. What a sound it was! I wish I could hear it one more time like that. To mix the music right, you have to switch down to smaller speakers to make sure that they're going to interpret it right, because you got to add a lot more bass for a small speaker than if you got a full range situation.
Now,
so we're so excited, and there's a song that was missing from the original record that'll be included, and boy.
Gallagher recorded an album for United Artists. Where did you record that?
At the Ice House in Pasadena.
Oh, wow.
Live.
I love that place. That's a great... Are they open anymore?
Yes.
Wow.
Do you play there?
Not anymore.
You don't like going to California?
Well, I wouldn't work in that little place.
Yeah, it's too small for him. Very intimate, though, if you have a reason to. It's a good place to maybe preview a new album or band in a small situation if you need to.
But I wanted to introduce you guys officially, and I have. Any questions? How is it in Berkeley today? Is it sunny?
It's moist and runny. It looks like it could be the next to the last day of the universe, but it's clearing up. Always clears up. You don't know till 2 o'clock or 3 in San Francisco whether it's going to be sunny until the last minute. And wow, I feel silly talking about this stuff because Gallagher has been an incredible inspiration to me for years and years and years. An entertainer must enjoy other entertainers, otherwise they're going to burn up. And,
well, can I send some lyrics to you and get a record, get a song on your album? I've got a lot of lyrics that I write with no music.
I'll give you his email and his
Okay.
phone number.
Please let me try to write some. I'm very quick at figuring out what chords can be. When someone gives me some good lyrics, I can just hear what the music could be. And we can vary it too. I can give it a try, Gal. And may I call you Gal?
Yes.
Gallagher. You changed the universe.
I did. Every amusement park in America has a splash ride. Shamu didn't splash anybody before me. Blue Man Group owes me a lot. I ought to get a percentage of that. Insane Clown Posse sends out liter bottles of Faygo Pop out over the kids. And Steve Wynn built a theater with a pool in the middle and hands out towels.
Wow.
That's funny. So how did the Sledge-O-Matic develop?
You're the only guy who came up with a new idea for the sledgehammer.
I came up with a new
I wonder
idea.
who did that. Somebody must have done it 1,000 years ago.
I think
Hey,
what
guys, look at this.
I think what I really said was that you can have more fun in a theater and you don't have to have a wall between the performer and the audience. And so I really feel responsible for the mosh pit. These kids jumping off the stage and just being up next to
breaking
them.
through that wall of the theater that usually you're not supposed to ever even acknowledge the audience, right? When
Right.
You're doing a certain type of production.
Now I entertain people in the lobby. I start at 7 o'clock when they first let them in, and I do autographs and take pictures with everybody for their Facebook out in the lobby. And so I've even changed that rule that you're supposed to hide in the dressing room until you're announced.
It's the way it should have been all along, and it's just less work if you don't try to give love. It's a whole lot less work if you're gonna.
I think it's what a celebrity should do. I think they should be available and accessible if people are going to show up to see you live.
Absolutely, and Branson has proved that, right?
I was in Branson. They run me out of town.
Tell me more.
I was charged with assault and battery for touching somebody in the audience, but they came there to get splashed. You'd think I'd be allowed to touch them.
Yeah. You didn't touch him with a knife or anything, you did?
No, I touched them with my hand, but they were ready to sue, and oh my.
Were they male or female?
A female.
Oh, that makes it even.
I know, I know. But I think that the district attorney was going to run for mayor and was going to use this for publicity.
Looked like he was good.
The evil Gallagher, you know, you had to keep him at bay. Did he run for mayor? Or
I don't know.
He just didn't go back.
I didn't go back.
But that sounds like fun. Some Gallagher lyrics for a new Buzzy Linhart record. Buzzy, you're always...
Gallagher record.
Or a Gallagher record.
Hopefully.
Well, you know, I started in the business with Jim Stafford. We wrote the...
Oh, Jim Stafford was a great writer.
Yeah, we had the first song about homosexuals with My Girl Bill.
Did you write that with him?
I wrote it down. He couldn't write when he was drinking.
I see. Yes, yes.
And then we had a song about Wildwood Weed. We used that Jerry Jeff Walker song and put jokes in it.
Wow, I didn't know that. I remember it was very interesting because when they were planning for the Jim Stafford show, I was in LA at the time, and somebody thought it was a good idea to send me over because they were looking for a musical director. So I went over and I sang for him. He said, well, this is not going to work. He said, you do the same thing I do. You know, we already got somebody who does that on the show, and it's me. So he didn't need great songs. He had a plethora of them. But I never knew you were connected. That's really nice.
Spiders and Snakes.
Yes.
Did you write that?
No, that was the Bellamy Brothers.
They wrote that?
They wrote the hook.
Wow.
Jim rewrote the verses.
Wow.
It used to go, I used to live a long time ago. Don't ask me how. I know I just did. So they were high, I'm sure. But they liked, Jim liked the hook, so he rewrote the hook. And lucky for the Bellamy's, somebody else wrote their hit, Let Your Love Flow.
Which was a nice pop song for them.
Yeah.
Would you, let's see. I just had an idea and it went flat away. Oh.
It's
I
Bluesheimers.
have an idea for a song, and maybe you could take work on the lyrics if you're interested. The opening line is, sometimes I feel they took my tail the day that I was born.
They took
And
my
it made
tail.
nothing but an interesting opening line, but just think of the things you could do if you had a tail. You didn't need somebody to hold the package string when you're tying a knot, and all kinds of great things.
I used to do a routine about that on the Tonight Show. I put a balloon, those long balloons, in my pants, and I said, if man had a tail, would it be legal to leave it out, or would you have to tuck it in?
And what did they feel?
They felt that was the only joke of the routine I had that I could do on the Tonight Show, because I had some other jokes.
You planned some even worse, so they'd have to.
Well, it's nightclub. I'm a nightclub comic.
Yes. That, you remember the Lenny Bruce bit where he said he wanted to tell a story on the Tonight Show, and they of course knew that they better hear it ahead of time. So he said, I got a Jewish grandmother. She sounds like a Jewish seagull. She goes, you got a tattoo. You got a tattoo. You can't be buried in a Jewish cemetery. So that's okay, Grandma. They'll cut my arm off and they'll bury it in the Goyim cemetery, and the rest of me will be in the Jewish cemetery with you guys. And the problem, the Tonight Show staff said that he couldn't tell the story because they didn't know whether it was more offensive to the Jews or the Goyim, because they were, on one hand, were saying that
On one hand, that's funny.
the Jews were very, very fussy, and on the other hand, the Goyim didn't care what they buried, so they wouldn't let him do it on the show.
Well, I think the question is, why do they put cushions in a coffin? Because you're dead. I don't understand why. They're upholstered. I mean, it's not like you're going to complain and jump out of the coffin saying, this is sure uncomfortable.
Right. I don't like this. You could actually fold their feet in the yoga position and save about a quarter of the wood on each coffin.
And that's green. We need to save resources.
Right.
I would think Lugosi's coffin
you
is.
could just cut their legs off at the knee and feed that to the lions at the zoo. They need meat every day.
Okay.
Okay, instead of being burned, instead of being cremated, just be
Right.
sent to the zoo.
Feed them
Right,
to the
and
lions.
It's just going right now to foul the atmosphere anyhow. They burn those things.
Right.
Buzzy, it's great to hear your voice, sir.
Oh, I'm so happy that you called and let me meet Gallagher. Very important moment in my life. I'm almost laughing hysterically, recalling so many of the things. When you think Gallagher, hundreds of things flood back. And I thank you for your millions of hours of work, sir.
It's 14. I did 14 one-hour shows.
Wow. And were there titles to each concept, or?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I remember the one where you were on a big couch and you were a tiny little kid bouncing on the couch. Was there a trampoline in there or something?
Yes, I got the idea from my daughter, and she had a baby today at 9:45 Pacific time.
Wow.
Congratulations.
And who's that baby? What's the baby's name?
Aiden.
Aiden?
It's a boy. She has a girl named Addie Bell, and so she wanted the same initials. She named this one Addison Blake.
Very nice.
Hi, Addison.
So today,
Yeah,
Happy
today,
birthday.
October 11th, you're a grandfather again.
again.
Wow.
But I don't like being a grandfather, so I tell her that I'm just a friend of the family. I don't want to hear grandpa.
No, congratulations. That's awesome.
Is it?
You know that
I
Chris
have a
Donovan's.
question which I hope is interesting because I haven't seen it happen. I don't know if it exists or not. Do two Gallaghers ever appear at the same time in the same space?
You and your brother?
Oh no, I had to sue my brother and make him stop because he wouldn't listen to me anymore in 1990. Or no, 2000. 2000. He hasn't performed in 11 years.
I see. So had people ever seen you in the same room at the same time? And do you have proof that he exists?
No, I have no proof he exists.
Wow. I'm
Now,
happy for you.
What's interesting is Chris
You'll be
Donovan,
able to-
our friend Chris Donovan, who's worked with visual radio before, brought Gallagher over. His son's name is Aiden.
Yeah.
And so it's a name that's
The odds.
But
becoming...
they call him Buddy.
Ah,
You know, I have another brother.
Odds Bodkins.
another brother.
You ask questions and then you run the odds through the computer. You say, what's the odds that this would happen to that? And then you run it through a computer, and of course it's all bullshit. Oops, all bull stuff.
We might be able to get away with that word. You have another
If you
brother.
had bulls and you were going to sail them to another country, you'd have to put them on a ship, wouldn't you?
A bull ship, S-H-I-P. Oh, that's what you said.
Yes.
Okay.
Tongue slip.
Gallagher has another brother. Another brother?
Yeah, I've got a brother that isn't any problems. He works for the Navy, and he teaches the test pilots at Patuxent Naval Air Station in Maryland, and he has done that for 30 years. I meet pilots all the time that says, your brother taught me.
Whoa.
And so he's a real hotshot pilot.
Outstanding. And does he look at all in
Yeah.
that way?
Yeah, he looks like me.
Wow.
Yeah, I think you can search him. I believe he's mentioned in books. He's quite a hotshot pilot.
That's fascinating. What's his name?
Jerry.
Jerry
Gallagher.
Fascinating. Hey, Buzzy, it's
I
good
laugh
to hear your
hearing
voice.
Your name, man. That's enough to split me up. Yes.
It's good to hear your voice. I don't know how much time I have left, so I want to continue with the interview with
I'm
Gallagher.
so glad you called. Love you, Gallagher.
Bye-bye.
Keep it up. Okay,
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Buzz.
we're going to go.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
We have actually 10 minutes left. So
I didn't say I loved him.
That's
because
okay.
I
You-
don't know if I love him, but I guess he knows more about me, so he could love me.
he wrote the song, You Got to Have Friends.
Oh, he did?
The Bette Midler song.
Isn't that a nice song?
Played with Jimi Hendrix.
Oh. Well, you wouldn't think, though, that somebody that's going to be with that drugged out nut is going to write a little lilting song about friends, did you?
Well, you know, I love Jimmy.
Yeah.
I love Jimi Hendrix.
But
I
he's
love,
not going to sing that song. He'd like to have friends if he's trying to buy drugs.
But Buzzy also worked with Patti LaBelle and Carly Simon. He was guitarist on their album and wrote songs for them. So he was one of the Greenwich people, you know. Not the Village people, the Greenwich Village people. Dylan.
That started the whole thing. The Beatniks. The first weird character on TV was on Dobie Gillis. It was the Beatnik.
Maynard G. Krebs.
There you go.
Love him.
There you go.
Love him.
Uh-huh.
You do any Maynard G. Krebs in your act?
No, nobody knows it but people as old as me and you.
Oh, well, I mean, he was great. Great character.
Well, they
For the
wanted to be up to the minute and cutting edge and modern.
Dobie
And that-
was so straight-laced and
Yeah.
Leave It to Beaver
Yeah.
with Maynard.
And then Maynard was the weird sidekick.
Yeah, it was good stuff. You don't
But
see
the
Dobie.
Beatniks made the hippies, and the hippies now made the punker kids.
When Buzzy was in the Greenwich Village with Dylan, Dylan would combine personalities for his songs, like a Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
He was speaking to Buzzy at one line when he goes about the riding in the chrome horse with the diplomat. That was a manager that Buzzy was dealing with, and Dylan was saying, get rid of him. So he used to ride in the chrome horse with your diplomat who carried on his shoulder a Siamese cat.
I like to write songs because a half a joke will get a full response in a poem or a song. And you get a much better reaction from the audience. And so I've got a bunch of jokes that aren't really funny enough to tell to drunks in a nightclub, but they fit nicely in a poem.
There you go. And it's content, and you just got to work it where it belongs.
I'm working on a poem right now about the election. It's going to be about a frog pond on the White House front lawn. And the frogs can't make sense. They're just supposed to croak. And don't we figure that's what our politicians are like? They never make any sense. We can't wait till they croak.
You know, it's a sad thing. It's a sad statement on the time.
We never have really qualified people. They're nutty folks that couldn't make it in business or something else, and they want to somehow be famous.
You know, where I come from, the next town over, the mayor's been in there 24 years, and he's got all family and friends infiltrated. And he even, they had a debate, but he wouldn't play by the rules. He didn't let his opponent close, even though the guy drew the straw. He closed it because he wanted all the union people cheering for him. He planted everyone in the audience. This is last week. So how do you get a guy out after 24 years?
I guess it's not a good system. I've never voted. I think it wastes a good day off from work. What I do is I wait. I find somebody's going to vote the opposite of me, and we both go fishing.
Ah, there you go. So that just kind of nullifies.
What the object isn't for everybody to waste their day. The object is to find out who had more votes. Now they're always crooked over there in Iraq and Iran. You know what they ought to do is get people that are going to vote the opposite to hold hands, because they're all in the streets every day anyway. They're always demonstrating. They ought to just hold hands, and then whoever doesn't have somebody to hold hands with, that's who gets to pick the president.
Well, your logic is impeccable, as I said earlier.
It is, because they're crooked. They fill the ballot box.
I'm not disagreeing.
I think that Ojamabad or whoever, what's his name over there, he lost the election, but he threw it away and it's just stayed in there.
You know, I went on eBay, and there's 2 copies of your album, which is a good sign, because that means it's rare. But there's 2 copies of the United Artists.
No, there's 20 or 30. You have to look.
Oh.
The used ones, you didn't see it in there? Buy it now.
I saw 2 copies, yeah.
There was only 2.
Well, United Artists, but that's kind of cool.
No, I buy a lot of them. I'm trying to keep the price above $20. I don't want my life to amount to $19.95. What kind of a life is that?
Like Bette Midler says, you've been marked down.
I don't want to be marked down. Not 14 hours of comedy for $20, that's less than the minimum wage.
Ruthless people. So I have a segment of the show called The Demo That Got the Deal. Was there a demo that got a deal for the United Artists album? Or was it just that they wanted to put a record out by Gallagher?
My manager, Ken Cragen, just told them to give me $100,000.
I like that.
And then I delivered the album. I edited it.
Did you?
I had one of them things where you cut the tape at an angle and then you put Scotch tape
Sure,
on top
yeah,
of it.
I remember.
So I took all the dirty joke laughs and I put them on the clean jokes. And so on my album, I'll tell a clean joke and they get this big dirty joke laugh.
That's great.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. So you recorded at the Ice House.
Yeah.
And then was it recorded on like 2-track?
4.
4-track.
Uh-huh.
So did you mix in audience applause too with the 4-track?
Oh, yeah. It's all fake, but it sounds great.
So did you go into the studio to edit?
No, I did it at my house.
Really?
Yeah.
You got $100,000 to edit at home.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
That's what they do today, but you were doing it.
I edited all my shows, all the 14 shows that are there.
On computer?
I planned the whole thing. Well, I sat next to them
Oh, I see.
and picked the pictures.
Right, but you're the producer.
Yeah.
So you produce all your recordings.
Yeah, I produced all the shows I made for Showtime.
That's
all
great.
14 of them.
Total artistic control.
Well, I don't know why the comedians didn't pay attention to what I was doing and have more color and costumes and routines. I did poems in my show. I did one about the river. I was a river and showed how I was polluted. And I had a song in all the shows. It's a one-man show. I wanted them to see how to be a variety entertainer. Instead of introducing somebody else, just introduce yourself doing something else. But instead, the kids just stand in front of the background. Sometimes they wear black and the background's black. It's ridiculous.
It is.
They don't think about the picture.
You made me change my...
Vision!
I dressed down for you, and you wanted me to wear my colorful shirt, so I did.
I just want everybody at home to know that I made him put on the red shirt. And it's good. I like it. You look fun today.
I'm having fun.
We're going to have a pina colada.
And we're going to pull the, there we go, that's better, the wide shot. Anyways, we're wrapping up. It's, what, 2 minutes left?
Yeah. You want a fortune cookie?
Oh, do you want a fortune cookie, Gallagher?
Yes.
He wants a fortune cookie. You can come on.
Toss it to you.
All right.
I just figured you need a prop.
Oh,
Well, I need my final joke.
yeah, because I'm buzzing from the coffee. Talk to Buzzy, start buzzing. And I get fuzzy
Where's
from
my
all these
camera?
lights.
This is your camera right here.
Sex is a Chinese dinner for two. It ain't over till you both get your cookies.
That's funny.
I know.
It took me 5 minutes to get it, but it finally registered.
Well, you going to read your fortune?
I don't have my glasses.
That's much better.
My fortune, if you believe in these things, is don't take somebody else's glasses who's younger than you. It says to learn Chinese. I guess them Chinese are writing these.
Those are those glasses belonged to from the Fools. Mike Girard of the Fools wrote a book. The Fools are a funny Boston band that have been around for 30 years. So we left them here, and
Well, they're not 3.5s. I have to have the glasses on the bottom of the rack at the CVS. I just crawl into the drugstore because I'm going to be down on my hands and knees anyway looking for the 3.5s. 3.0s is all they ever have. Are those 275s?
I have no idea what they are.
You don't buy your own glasses?
I don't. No, I've never had glasses. So
I
just,
put on the 3s to look for the 3.5s.
There you go. Well, 55 minutes have flown by. Would you mind saying this is Gallagher on visual radio?
To what camera? Hi, gang. This is Gallagher on visual radio. I'm visual. Can you see me?
And thank you so much, man. Great having you on the show. And that's our show for tonight. Visual radio, Gallagher. His grandson was born today, 10/11/11. Thank you, WinCam, Anthony, Joe, Kevin. Kayla Long.
Gallagher of Watermelon Smashing fame,
And I'm here with him.
of a wonderful show fame.
Oh, are you famous?
In the small circle, I mean,
Okay.
people like if I'm downtown, people
Yeah.
go,
Oh,
you're the wonderful show guy."
Yeah.
"What do you feel about?"
Downtown Winchester?
Yeah, I want to get your vibe on the city, the
I
town.
liked it. It was one way, and then one way,
Yeah.
and another one way. Usually one-way streets are in big cities.
Yeah, here it's more. Well, did you find this place well? You need like a cryptic.
You have to go there because it's one way and ends up downtown.
Right. There's no coming back. Well, anyway, thank you. This is The Wonderful Show. Please watch every 7 o'clock? 7 o'clock, Channel 8. Gallagher watches.
All the time.
Good night. That was great. Thanks. So, anyway, you guys did a good job. You did. You now